Hi, my name is Dr. Caitlin Francis Bruce. I received my PhD from Northwestern University in Communication Studies, and I'm an assistant professor of communication at the University of Pittsburgh. I'm also affiliated with the Center for Latin American Studies, the Cultural Studies program, and the Gender, Sexuality, and Women's Studies program. My broad research program is about public art and urban space. So some of the questions I ask are, how does public art create spaces for encounter? In what ways do art events enable urban citizens to imagine city spaces otherwise? And how might public art making also be a vehicle for civic voice? Other questions include, how do images impact audiences? And how do public emotions shape political possibilities? I've explored some of these questions through article-length pieces about Pussy Riot, Renzo Martins, and Toy Poverty, a piece about a mural in Pilsen, Chicago called Declaration of Immigration, and more recently an oral history project about a local art event and project called River of Words, which received a mention in The Atlantic. But these questions animate three major projects. The first is a book in which I have received an advance contract, and it's titled Transitional Art, Transnational Murmurs, Public Art, a Space of Encounter in Feminist Art, Muralism, and Graffiti. In this book, I analyze contemporary art scenes in the US and Mexico to argue that public art offers a means for negotiating and encouraging encounters with and across differences, social, cultural, racial, economic, and gender differences, by creating mediating instances. The art sites that I address are in transitional contexts involving a shift from illegal to legal status and/or from peripheries to the center, with multiple oscillations in between. I draw from over the 60 interviews conducted with practitioners from Mexico, Brazil, the US, Germany, and France, among other countries, held at graffiti festivals, a mural photo shoot, and a feminist art exhibit, to explore how artists in the contemporary moment use art as a way of reshaping city spaces and building relational networks. In contrast to much of the scholarship about public art, I'm interested in playful, non-polemical scenes so that I can better understand the more elongated and gradual process through which alternative cultures transform mainstream culture. My second big project is a book, which I'm in the research stages. This book is titled Citizen Voices in Aerosol, León's Graffiti Worlds, and it explores the history of graffiti and public debates over graffiti status in León, Guanajuato, Mexico between 1999 and 2015. So in León, graffiti became perceptible as a movement in 2000. During this period, media and public censure of the practice used it as a kind of stand-in or scapegoat for broader anxiety about León's urbanizing status. This is because population had increased sharply in the late 90s. By exploring how graffiti's initial prosecution and exclusion, and later sponsorship and support by the city and the state, this book illuminates how public art functions as a means of civic intention that can express and complicate urban and national identity. León is a vital and yet an underanalyzed city for graffiti culture and scholarship. It's a site where youth and adults have been participating in a graffiti movement since the 1990s that uses graffiti as a mechanism to celebrate national culture and heritage, to investigate issues of indigenous history and culture, to criticize and create space for debate around issues of state violence and environmental catastrophe, and to experiment with the aerosol form as a means of aesthetic expression in innovative ways. Moreover, because there have been city-sponsored legal graffiti programs since 2009, the artists, called writers, have been subject to intense media scrutiny, intensifying the communicative opportunities and challenges facing the art form. León is a bellwether and a laboratory for graffiti culture as a means of civic expression and shaping urban space. The third project is taking the form of articles at the moment, and it's about street art in France and how street art serves as a vehicle to transition urban sites in an epoch characterized by precarity. It will also have a comparative dimension, exploring how the form in France has become more integrated into fine art and gallery scenes than in the US, such that the general population in France is incredibly literate about street art culture. This project also explores the darker side of public art, how public art is used by urban developers and commercial agents to commodify the city and to amplify precarious economies. This project draws on literature about precarity, the creative class, and creative destruction, and it'll be my next project. I'm also really excited about exploring public art worlds in Pittsburgh. During academic year 2016 and 2018, I'm working with a collaborator to bring urban art to Pittsburgh to develop discussions about Pittsburgh's urban development trajectory, its status as a global city, and its industrial histories. It will kick off with a public debate about whether Pittsburgh should have legal graffiti walls. So please stay tuned for updates on that front.